This story time is from a follower, and she said she liked to be called Desiree. So last year, Desiree was starting college, and she lived in a dorm room. She went to school for communications, and she liked everything about it, including a new friend she made. One of the new friends she created was a guy, and his name was Jalen, and she was really starting to like him. They met in math class, and from there, they became friends. Jalen was low-key hinting that he liked her also. He did nice things for her, like help her with schoolwork, buy her lunch, and was just an all-around good person to vent to. Couple days before winter break, Cassidy was finally ready to tell Jalen how she felt about him. So that day, they had plans to go out as usual. They ended up going to the mall, got food, and for the first time, they went to Cassidy's dorm room. They turned on a movie. They both fell asleep in the middle of the movie. Couple minutes later, Cassidy woke up and her leg was wet. When she stood up, come to find it, Jalen peed in her bed.
This is why you should never trust your friend if they tell you that their pet don't bite. Charla Nash would go over to her friend's house, Sandra, every now and then to watch over her 200-pound chimpanzee. Charla knew straight off the bat that she did not like that chimpanzee because it always scared her. There was even a time where the chimpanzee jumped on Charla's back and ripped out a chunk of her hair. Charla started crying, but her friend Sandra thought it was funny. Sandra would not be laughing at anything that chimpanzee did much longer after this day. One day, Charla gets a call from Sandra saying her chimpanzee wouldn't go back in the cage and she needed some help. Charla drove over there to help her friend, and immediately after, Sandra would have to call the police. By the time the police arrived, Charla was laying on the ground with half of her face eaten off, no jaw, her nose hanging from her face by a piece of her skin, and with both of her hands ripped off. This is what Charla looked like before her attack. Her entire face was mutilated after the attack, but since the photos are super graphic, they'll be posted on my Instagram story. Part 2 will include the unsettling phone call Sandra made to the police and how she described her friend getting eaten and ripped apart.
This story time is from a follower, and she says she wants advice and would like to be called Milan. Also, please no one judge her. So Milan has been with her boyfriend Damien for 2 months. They started talking 2 weeks before making their relationship official. She said it was pretty fast, but the past week, she hadn't been feeling Damien and started to notice how toxic he was. And she didn't know if she wanted to be with him anymore. So she decided to call it quits before they got too deep. So she told him she didn't want to be with him and that they jumped into the relationship too soon. And they split. Damien was upset and disrespected her in the process of the breakup, and now they're not cool anymore. Couple days later, she started feeling weird. She'd get nauseous and dizzy. Come to find out she was pregnant, and Damien was the child's father. She knew this because she took a pregnancy test. So right now, she doesn't want to be with Damien, and she said she wasn't ready for a child or to be a single mother. She said she wanted to get an abortion and was not going to tell Damien. Comment down below some advice. Today's story time is from a follower, and she needs advice. I didn't want to tell this one because it seemed kind of personal, but it'll probably help other girls who are going through the same issues. Hopefully, TikTok doesn't take down this video. By the way, we're calling her Brandy, and she's 15. So growing up, Brandy lived with her mom and her dad, and occasionally she would be with her grandparents whenever her parents were arguing for a long period of time. She practically grew up with her grandparents. She even had her own room. But whenever she come back home, she would notice her mom wearing sweaters and chokers. It was this one summer where all she wore was jackets. She said her mom claimed to be cold. Anyways, earlier this year for Mother's Day, Brandy wanted to surprise her mom, so she bought gifts from the store, came into the house quietly, and busted into her room to surprise her. When she came in, her mom was half naked, and she had a lot of bruises on her neck, arms, just about everywhere but her face. There's more to the story. Part 2 will be up soon. So when Brandy busted into her room, she noticed her mom had a lot of bruises on her body. Her mom quickly covers up and tells her to hold on. Brandy asked her if she was okay and did someone do something. Her mom said no, so she ran downstairs and she asked her dad why did her mom have so many bruises. Her dad said she fell down the stairs and that she's okay. She was a bit confused, so she went back upstairs to her mom's room and asked her why she had so many bruises. Her mom began to say, oh, they're not bruises. It was just an allergic reaction to something I ate, and now I have rashes on my body. Brandy then gives her mom the gifts and was still confused because her dad told a whole different story. But she left the situation alone, and after that, the past months, every time she would get back home from her grandparents, she would notice the bruises were getting worse, and now she's assuming that her dad is abusing her mom, and she doesn't know what to do or say because she's never seen her dad as a violent person. But please comment down below some advice. This story time is from a follower and why she regrets getting breast implants. She had breast implants and then she had to get them removed, and now she has no left breast at all. She says she wants everyone to know her experience before making a decision of getting them. By the way, we're calling her Chloe, and at the time she was 23. Spring of 2018 is when she felt ready to get work done on her breast.
Chloe was always the skinny type, and she felt like her breasts would never grow because she's been an A cup since 7th grade, and she said she wasn't ever insecure about them. It was just something she wanted for herself. So she saved up to get the procedure done, and she went to her appointments and then finally got her implants put in. The doctor told her it would take 6 to 8 weeks to heal and 3 months for everything to sit in place, and she'd be all right. So she expected the soreness and tenderness, but even after 3 months, her breasts were still in pain, and at 4 months, the pain was going away, but she couldn't feel either of her breasts. And she noticed her left breast had turned completely black, and that's not even the worst part, like for part 2. This is part 2 of why Chloe regrets getting breast implants. Like I said earlier, Chloe got her breast implants done, and she couldn't feel either of them, and her left breast had turned completely black. It didn't happen in one day. She saw discoloration at first, but then it gradually turned black. Also, those 4 months, she felt fatigue, nauseous, sick all the time. After seeing what was happening to her breasts, she went to the emergency room, and they had planned to take them out. The implants were black. She was told it was because fungus had made its way into her bloodstreams. They ended up taking both of her implants out, and her left breast she had to get completely removed because the tissue was dying, and now her breast is more deflated than before she got the implants. End of the story. She don't think everyone's body is made for these type of surgeries, and she wished she was told that this could be a complication before even getting them.
This story time is how I caught my boyfriend cheating on me with my best friend. Okay, so my birthday is when I introduced my 2 favorite people in the world, my boyfriend and my old childhood best friend. We went out to the club along with some other friends. We all had a great time, and they were also able to talk, which I was glad about because they'd be able to be comfortable around each other so it wouldn't be awkward. After the night was over, my boyfriend asked if they could exchange contacts, and I was filled with liquid courage and thought it was cool because then they would be close. I don't know. But fast forward a couple months, I went on a business trip for a week to Florida, but the trip cut short because I got finished doing everything and was able to come home 2 days early. So I wanted to surprise my boyfriend, and I bought some food from his favorite restaurants. When I got home, I called for my boyfriend, but no response. Then I went upstairs and heard moaning in my bedroom. So I busted in and saw my boyfriend laying in bed with my best friend. If y'all want to know what happened after that, let me know down below in the comments. This is part 2 of how I caught my boyfriend cheating on me with my best friend. So after I came back home 2 days early from my business trip, I caught my boyfriend in bed with my best friend. My heart has never burned so hard. I blacked out and I went crazy. I jumped on the bed and started beating him. And he was stronger than me and was able to pin me down. He was naked, but he was over me, so I was able to squeeze his you-know-what. And he crawled in a corner, panicking. My best friend seemed like she was trying to put on clothes and rush out, but she wasn't getting away easy, so I snatched the clothes she was trying to put on, threw it out the window. I snatched her up by the hair, dragged her out of the house, and she stood outside naked. And I didn't care because I never felt so betrayed. Then I went back to the room, and it seemed like my boyfriend was trying to get up and put on clothes and grab his keys, but I snatched the keys out of his hands and flushed them down the toilet. At that point, I got fed up, so I grabbed my taser and told him to get out, and I left both of them outside naked. My boyfriend was trying to get back in the house, so I called the police about trespassers trying to get inside my house and trying to attack me. If you want to know what happened after that, let me know down below in the comments. This is part 3 of how I caught my boyfriend cheating on me with my best friend. So after I caught them in bed together, I kicked them out of the house completely naked. When my boyfriend was trying to get back in, I called the police about trespassers trying to get inside my house and attacking me. And it was my house. I paid the bills. His name wasn't on the deed, and they were both arrested. My boyfriend even tried to run and hide, but they tackled him and pinned him down. And it felt good to see, but I was still hurt. And the crazy thing is, 3 years later, they are now together. My ex-best friend even got pregnant. She tried to invite me to the baby shower, but I threw the invitation away. Instead, I sent them a cute bag of dirty diapers.